All right, what is up? We're back here in the basement studio thing, whatever. I tried to shoot this so it didn't look kind of like a ransom video, but I think that's just unavoidable at this point. So let's just get into it. Today's video is not really, again, not a news video. This is going to be the second news video in a row that I've done. It's not really been a news video, but this one still kind of is. This is going to be the best and worst of 2023. The year is now closed, and now it's the new year, and I just kind of wanted to line up all the stuff that was like the highlights of the news and go over it, what I thought was like good stuff and what I thought was not so good stuff. All of this is really based upon my own opinion, and then also a lot of these you'll notice are kind of like good and bad, and then also bad and then good, but we'll discuss further as the topics come up. And there's a lot more positive than negative, to be honest. So I was going to try to do like a good, then bad, then good kind of situation. But I think I'm just going to kind of do good, good, bad, good, good, bad, good, good, bad, good, bad. Something like that. We'll just see. We'll just see how it shakes out. I have notes, so we're just going to get into it. And if I missed anything, comment down below. Would love to hear from you all. And it's good to be back. I'm glad to be back from a little hiatus I took. Let's just get into it. All right, so first up, in the good quality news stuff, new Orwell film, the 500NC/400NC, both were released earlier in 2023, I believe about a year ago. And I think it might have been like tail end of 2022 going into 2023. I'm going to count it as 2023 because really time is relative, but the film is great, I think. I'm a little bit biased on that. I'm a big proponent of Orwell. It's a very like original film company, so to see them kind of come back into this modern market is really exciting to me, and I do really enjoy the film quite a bit. A lot of other people don't. That's totally fine. I just really dig it. And then the next up in the good news is the new Harmon film. These are both new color films, and that's kind of huge because there's not a lot of color film options out there at this moment in time. Definitely not as much as there used to be. So any new contender in that market is great. Harmon, I have different thoughts on. I'm going to make another video about it, but still, it's cool that they're making new stuff, even if it is very expensive. But anyway, I digress. That's happened. That is cool. That's great. That happened early December, so kind of the tail end of the year. So it's interesting starting out the new year with an older film company releasing some new color film, ending the year with kind of a newer film company releasing new color film. So, and I know Harmon and Ilford are kind of a thing, but kind of not. Semantics, okay? Just let me enjoy this little moment of symbolism, I guess. Anyway, some of the more unsavory news of this past year was Kodak announcing the H35N half-frame camera. Again, I'm very biased towards this because I think it is a pile of crap, but a lot of people really do like it. There is a market for it, I guess. I don't know who, but some people actually kind of like them, which is kind of weird, but whatever, that's fine. If you want to like garbage, you can like garbage. I digress. Personally, I believe the Kodak should be investing their money into anything else. I digress. I just think the H35N is just a shameless cash grab to try to like get some form of like general audience involved. I don't know. At some point in the future, I might try to get my hands on it and give a more in-depth review. But my experience with the H35 was almost exclusively negative. So the H35N kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Again, I'm incredibly biased. And if it's something that appeals to you, then this is great news. And don't listen to me at all. Please go buy one, have fun. They're fun for some people. For me, it's not really my cup of tea. So bias aside, Kodak's doing something, which is cool. But I think a lot of like film photographers look at that and they're like, okay, great. more garbage for the general audience? Where's the support to the audience that has like actually funded you for the last like many decades, you know? But I digress. Speaking of funding, good news, Fuji invested a lot more money into their film products, which is great because for the last like 5-10 years, it's been like watching their supply dwindle, watching their stocks available dwindle, rumors of them having just recanned Kodak film, rumors of them not making film ever again, which honestly with the success of the Fuji X100 series cameras and all of their Fuji digital cameras, it wouldn't be surprising if they just completely moved on from film. But they decided that like, no, we want to support this product, so they like put a bunch of money in their Instax brand specifically, which is great because I love Instax, and hopefully a lot of that will also go into film because Fujifilm is the bee's knees. And then also, going back to investment, Ricoh, Pentax, Ricoh, whomever, they are also developing a new camera, a new film camera. This has been in the works for a while, but to see like solid news that this is actually a thing that is going to be happening is really cool because it would be great to have new quality cameras out there. I only have broken cameras around me, but they're really something like a Spotmatic. In today's day and age, I can only see this as being a huge success for the brand. These are solid, dependable, reliable cameras. Great for beginners, great for people to use, relatively affordable for a lot of folks. And just overall, I think that would be fantastic to see a new camera in the year 2024, 2025, whenever they decide to release one. I'm a big fan of the Pentax brand. Their digital stuff I'm kind of unaware of, but their film stuff, muy bien. So would love to see that. Overall, that made me very happy. Back over to the bad news. We have new cameras, which this is kind of one that's both good and bad. So I'm just going to talk about them symbiotically, and then hopefully you can discern for yourself whether or not this is something you believe is good or something you believe is bad. There's a lot of them that have come up. The 35 millimeter fixed focal length, usually like 35 to 38 millimeters, f5.6 to f8 to f11, somewhere in that range, usually shooting at 1/125th of a second. There's a plastic shutter component. There is a pop-up flash. It uses a AAA battery. Like you've seen, I'm sure, plenty of these examples. I've talked about plenty of these examples because they were like kind of popping up left, right, and center. Every other company was bringing out their new film camera. And that's great. Like genuinely, that is great to see more companies see this as a viable market to invest in. However, this is the bad component to it. It's all the same thing. It's all a bunch of like plasticky things that is going to take like very fun little moment pictures and stuff like that, but it's not something you can necessarily grow with. It's not something that you can start to change your aperture, change your focal length, change your shutter speed. You can only really change the film you put into it, which only certain films are going to look good with those variables. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag. Like it is good to see that, but at the same time, for a lot of people such as myself that might have become a little bit too addicted to the idea of film photography, it's a little bit difficult to see this thing that we care about so much being dwindled down to, hey, I got this plastic camera, like that's it for a lot of people. And that's fine. Again, everyone's experience is going to be different. I'm not saying that they're wrong for enjoying that. I enjoy things like that often, a lot of the times. But I'm also saying that there is a component to film photography which does require a little bit more patience and deliberation that I just think is overlooked with these inventions or whatever, with these new film cameras. So a bit of good bit news paired with a little bit of bad news, depending on your perspective. I know a lot of people out there like vehemently hate them. I know a lot of people out there vehemently support them. I kind of sit in the middle. I can see both perspectives. I don't really feel myself curious to buy any of them because I just have so many cameras to begin with, and also just like that's just not where I'm at right now. I have other things that work better than that, so I'm good. But I can also see where if you don't have a lot of cameras, if you don't have point and shoots, a new $50-$60 point and shoot, That was weird. It was like, I was going to do this, and then I was going to do this. So I did like, it's good. But anyway, I digress. Back to the good news. We have the Ravini Labs film camera tester. I'm running out. I did this all bad. I did this all messed up. I should have done good, bad, good, bad. Anyway, Ravini Labs made a film camera tester, or they're making it. It's about to release. I'm pretty stoked about it. And then, leading into bad news now, just straight into it, rip the Band-Aid off. The new Super 8 Kodak camera is just terrible. Like it's just like I like Kodak. I like a lot of things Kodak does. If Kodak ever reached out and was like, hey, Mr. Bronco, we'd love to support your channel in any way, I'd be like, yes, please. Thank you. Like, I'd be very grateful. I would relish the opportunity to be some form of participant in the overall Kodak experience, because I like the brand. I like their commitment. I like so much that they do. I like a lot of their film even. But Lord Almighty, do their decision making just baffle me at so many turns. Like, I don't fully grasp where they were coming with this whole, like, oh, Super 8 camera that we developed eons ago, like 2017, 2016. We're going to bring it back finally, which is like I made this argument like 2 years ago. I think it was. Yeah, it's 2 years ago now, 2022. I was just like, oh, the H35 is coming out. That's great. Where's the Super 8 camera? I would rather see that than the H35. But now we're seeing both of them, and it's my worst nightmare. The Super 8 camera is going to be $5,000. Are you kidding me? $5,000 for a not great medium in which to shoot. If it was a 16 millimeter camera for $5,000, I'd be like, oh shit, that's pretty saucy. But no, it's an Super 8 camera. Like, it's not. There are components to it that are good. I can admit that. There is the sound sync, which is great. The sound recording, which is great. There's also the EVF dealio, which is great. You can bump into the monitors. That's great. But that kind of defeats the whole purpose of Super 8. Like, Super 8 is not designed to be a professional medium that's like needed to be used like that. You shouldn't have Video Village for Super 8. Also, there is the larger gate, so you can actually record more, which is kind of cool. But still, that doesn't really make up for the fact that each cartridge is 2.5 minutes long, thereabouts, depending on what frame rate you shoot at. It's a whole thing. But regardless of that, what are we doing here? I can go on and on about it. I'm not going to waste everyone else's time because everyone else has talked about it. This is one of those situations where it's good and bad news, because good that they're bringing it out, I guess. Bad that it's so expensive. Bad that it's going to be unaffordable to virtually everybody. But also good because it brought in a lot of viewership for videos where people were talking about it. So that's pretty cool. And speaking of bringing in viewership, oh, mama, let me talk to you about the Cinestill drama. Okay, and this is another case of bad news. Kind of good, though. Not gonna lie. Good, bad news. Bad Cinestill. I thought it was pretty gross, the whole, filing lawsuit claims and stuff. Not really a good look for Cinestill. But definitely did wonders for my ad revenue, which isn't a lot, but by any stretch of the imagination. These videos, I operate completely at a loss. This is... I don't make a lot of money on this. I live in a basement, okay? I am practically... There's been many times I'm like, oh, it'd be really cool if I had an editor. And I was like, oh, maybe one day I'll make money and I can pay an editor. I make money right now, but I don't even make enough money to pay myself to do this. Oh, man. Anyway, I operate at a complete loss here. So That being said, the Sinistal drama definitely helped justify a lot of my decision making in terms of making videos and not. So thank you for that. On the flip side, not a great look if you are a company that is like producing film in a way that isn't you actually producing film, for you then to say no one else can do this thing that we didn't even make up. So that's a bad look. But oh, good news. I just thought of another good news thing. So I was talking about the Seattle Filmworks. These weirdos here. Focus on the cartridge. It is the grossest looking package you'll ever see in your life. It's like this mustard and ketchup-y color. But I was talking about that, and then I actually met an ex-employee, and she worked there for like a little bit of time. She said it was the weirdest fucking place. And then someone commented on a video, which has now led me to think I'm just going to make a full Seattle Filmworks video, and I want that to make like a historical piece going over all of that, because it is wild. Like, it is wild. So anyway, that was good news. A company that like shuttered its doors in like 2000 something, early 2000s. I found out information about that is public information, but I just find utterly fascinating. So I will be discussing that at a later time. And then finally, last bit of good news is the Lomography discounts. Fantastic. They dropped a lot of the prices of their medium format film. I shot a bit of it. I've got a video in the works on that, and I was pleasantly surprised. And as someone who like is kind of critical of Lomography because didn't really like Metropolis, don't really like the 1990 whatever film, I don't really like what's the other one? The Loma Purple's like hit or miss for me. And then what's the other one that I shot of theirs? I shot their 110 color film, and not my favorite. But despite all of that, I'm very, very excited that they decided to discount their 120 film, because 120 can be very expensive. Even the Kodak Gold 120 that was supposed to be the budget 120 has become more expensive. So that all being said, lower prices, good stuff. Overall, 2023 was a pretty solid year for film photography. I think a lot more people got into it. The bubble is kind of slowly coming down, but I do think there's a lot of good stuff to look forward to, especially on this channel. I've got a lot of really like exciting ideas moving ahead. So be sure to subscribe to the video if you haven't, because 2024 is going to be a good year. It's Year of the Dragon, which doesn't really do anything. I mean, like, I was going to try to find a way to like tie that into this channel and my journey as a human, but I got nothing. I have good feelings about how things are going, so would love to have you all along for the ride. But I think that's about it. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you had a happy holiday season, and yeah, catch you on the next one. Pew, pew, pew.